Dear learners, welcome to this session of marketing research. In our earlier sessions, we have discussed the meaning, importance, scope and applications of marketing research. We have also defined marketing research as the function that links the consumer, customer and public to the marketer through information. Information used to identify and define opportunities and problems, generate, refine and evaluate actions, monitor performance and improve understanding of it as a process. It specifies the information required to address these issues, designs the method for collecting information, manages and implements the data collection process, analyzes the results and communicates the findings and their implications. This definition of marketing research is given by the American Marketing Association. So, based on this definition, we can say that marketing research is a systematic way to collect information, analyze it and use the findings to make marketing decisions. It is important to be unbiased and follow a clear process. There should be objectivity and logic in this approach. In this session, we will discuss the marketing research process, which includes clearly defining the problem, determining what information is required, selecting a method of data collection, doing an analysis, and finally presenting the findings and their implications for marketing decisions. The learning outcomes of this session are: explain how the value of information influences marketing research decisions, identify the key stages involved in conducting a successful marketing research, discuss the various stages of the marketing research process and applying the concept learned in real life case situation. So, marketing research should be targeted at solving specific problems and provide unbiased information throughout the process. The research should ultimately guide managerial decisions and it evolves through a series of steps, each representing the answer to a key question, such as why should we do research? That means defining the need. As we have discussed in earlier sessions, marketing research is most needed when managers face uncertainty or significant risk in a decision. It is also essential when there is a gap in knowledge that internal data cannot address. Some of the conditions for conducting marketing research include: by conducting research, one can fill in the information gap. Second is, the price of conducting marketing research to narrow the gap is less expensive than the price of making an incorrect choice. Decision making is not unduly hampered by the time required for research. It should also be considered. Once the need for marketing research is established, the next question arises as what research should be done. Here, the management purpose is translated into objectives. The next question is it worth doing the research? A cost benefit analysis compares the value of the information against the cost of collecting it. In what way should the research be designed to achieve the research objectives? It includes the selection of research approach, and finally the question is what will we do with the research? That means utilizing the findings and ensuring the research results are implemented to benefit the business decisions. So, we can say that a well-defined research purpose and specific objectives are essential for any marketing research. This ensures the research is relevant and useful and avoids being a waste of time and resources. There are various approaches to conducting marketing research, but all methods involve a systematic investigation. This means that organizing the research process requires careful planning. Although there is no one-size-fits-all approach, but Marketing research often follows a general pattern with a few key stages. These stages are connected and should be done in a certain order. But researchers should also consider how decisions in earlier stages might affect later ones. A sequential stage of the marketing research process includes these steps as shown in figure 1, and these stages are: first is defining the problem, then statement of research objectives, planning the research design, planning the sample, data collection, data processing and analysis, formulating conclusion, and preparing and presenting the report. The research process begins with the defining of problem. The research task may clarify a problem or define an opportunity. For example, in the case of a fruit and vegetable retailer, he could want to know why the sales are not meeting expectations for organic fruits and vegetables. The reasons could be lack of awareness towards the benefits of organic fruits and vegetables, pricing and positioning of products, and so on, that need to be further explored. Another scenario may be one in which a marketing manager has to select whether to keep running a campaign, stop it altogether, or make changes based on how it is affecting product sales. Even if the campaign is a success, sales may not have increased as expected, since other marketing considerations like price, distribution, or fierce competitor promotions may have been in play. The marketing manager needs more information to define the problem. The importance of clear problem definition is that at the beginning of the research process, it might not be feasible to state the problem clearly, because at that point often only the symptoms of the problem are visible. In order to define the problem situation, some exploratory research may be done prior to formulate a more detailed problem statement. Surveys of secondary data, experience surveys, or pilot studies are the methods that are most commonly used for problem definition. Secondary data surveys examines existing data like sales figures, market reports, or customer demographics. Experience surveys gathers insights from sales staff, industry experts, or customers through interview or focus groups. In pilot studies, small-scale research projects are conducted to test potential research methods and refine the problem definition. Since marketing research is an expensive process in terms of both time and money, a clear problem definition is essential. By paying close attention to how the problem is defined, the researcher can establish appropriate study objectives, which in turn make it easier to collect useful and affordable data. So, after clarifying and identifying the research problem with or without exploratory research, the researcher must make a formal statement of research objectives. The research objective is a clear and specific statement that outlines exactly what information is needed. The information should specifically address the main objective of the study and ensure that the research purpose is satisfied. Whereas research objectives have three components. One is research question, then hypothesis, and scope. Research question specifies information needed by the decision maker. Hypothesis is a statement that can be proven or disproven by findings, and scope defines the boundaries of the research. The formulation of hypothesis and the scope or boundaries of the research help the researcher formulate a more focused and precise research questions. For example, to understand how to improve the services of a bank, we can ask questions that uncover customer needs and satisfaction. Here are some key questions. First, we can ask that, what do customers like and dislike? This helps identify areas for improvement and aspects to maintain. Then second question may be, who uses what services? Knowing customer demographics for specific services allows tailoring them for better fit. The third question may be, what are people looking for in a bank? Understanding customer expectations helps ensure the bank offers the most relevant services. By answering these questions, the bank can learn, for instance, which customer groups use traveler's checks and how to improve that service specifically for them. The scope or boundaries of this research may be, for example, focused on current customers only or on all potential customers. So this can be answered. Further, research objectives may be stated in qualitative or quantitative terms. Qualitative objectives are phrased as research questions, statements, and quantitative objectives are stated as hypotheses. For example, take a scenario where a company wants to understand the impact of their summer sales promotion program on sales. So the qualitative objectives for this given scenario may be stated as to find out the extent to which the sales promotion programs affected sales. This explores the impact of sales promotions on sales. A hypothesis, on the other hand, is a statement that can be refuted or supported by empirical findings. So the quantitative objective for the same given scenario is stated as sales are positively affected by the sales promotion program undertaken this summer. So this test a specific prediction, say this is a hypothesis 1. Another hypothesis for the same given scenario may be stated as concentrating advertising efforts in monthly waves rather than advertising continuously would cause an increase in sales and profits. So this explores another potential influence. Once the objective or the hypothesis are developed, the researcher is ready to plan the research design. As we know, a research design is a blueprint outlining how the required data will be gathered and analyzed. It represents a framework for the research plan of action. Components of a research design include research objectives, data collection methods, sampling methodology, timing and cost, and type of design. The research objectives of the study discussed in the preceding steps are included in the research design to ensure that the data collected is relevant to the objectives. For data collection, the researcher must determine the type of data collection methods and information sources needed, for example, survey method or interviewing the respondents. Sampling methodology refers to the process of selecting a representative sample from the population of interest. The research design should consider the time it will take to complete the study and the associated cost. The research design plan may be exploratory, descriptive, quasi-experimental or experimental design, which again include a number of alternative methods. You will study more about specific types of research designs and their appropriateness for particular kind of research problem in the coming sessions. Now, let us discuss about the sampling plan. Although the sampling plan is included in research design, the actual sampling is a separate and important stage in the research process. Sampling involves procedures that use a small number of items or parts of from the population to make conclusion regarding the whole population. The first sampling question that needs to be asked is who is to be sampled, which follow from what is the target population. Defining the population may not be as simple as it seems. For example, if you are interested in finding the association between savings and loans, you may survey the people who already have accounts and the selected sample will not represent potential customers. Similarly, if we are interested in studying the savings habits of college students, our target population would be all college students. The next important issue is regarding sample size. How large or how small should a sample be? Generally speaking, larger samples give more reliable information than smaller ones, but if probability sampling is used, a small proportion of the population may give a reliable measure of the inverse. There are statistical formulas that can help us determine the appropriate sample size for our study. The researcher is also required to know how to select the various units to make up the sample. There are two basic classes of sampling methods, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling involves selecting a sample in which every member of the population has a known chance of being included. Common probability sampling methods include simple random sampling, stratified sampling and cluster sampling. Non-probability sampling involves selecting a sample based on convenience or other non-random criteria. Common non-probability sampling methods include convenience sampling, purposive sampling and snowball sampling. We will discuss in detail about the different methods of sampling in the coming sessions. The data collection process follows the formulation of research design including the sampling plan. Data, which can be secondary or primary, can be collected using variety of tools. These tools are classified into two broad categories, the observation methods and the communication methods, all of which have their inherent advantages and disadvantages. All these methods and their appropriateness for different situations will be discussed in detail later on in this course. Once the data has been collected, it has to be converted to a format that will suggest answer to the problem identified in the first step. Data processing begins with the editing, coding, transcription and verification of data. Editing involves inspecting the data collection forms for omission, legibility and consistency, and if necessary, corrected. Prior to tabulation, responses need to be categorized into meaningful categories through coding. Coding means assigning categories or codes to the responses. Codes are the procedures for classifying, recording and transferring data to data storage media. Each response to each question in the questionnaire is represented by a code, which can be either a number or a letter. The coding process facilitates the manual or computer tabulation. If computer analysis is being used, the data can either be directly entered into the computer or transformed to text. And transcription means transferring handwritten data to digital format if applicable. And verification is ensuring the accuracy of data entry. Once data processing prepares collected data for analysis through editing, coding, transcription and verification, data is analyzed with the help of suitable statistical methods. Analysis is the process of using logic to make sense of the data collected about a subject. In its simplest forms, analysis may involve finding recurrent patterns and summarizing pertinent information. The appropriate analytical techniques that should be used will depend on the information needs of the problem, the characteristics of the research design and the nature of data collected. The statistical analysis may range from simple univariate analysis to very complex multivariate analysis. This course covers univariate, bivariate and multivariate analysis as well as their applicability to marketing problems. The information related to the aspects of the marketing research problem is derived from the data through analysis, and this information is then used to provide input into the management decision problem. So, the final step in the research process is to interpret the information and make inferences that can be applied to managerial decisions in real world scenario. In formulating conclusion, preparing and presenting the report for management to effectively use the findings in decision making, the findings should be presented in a simple and easily understandable manner. The research report should clearly explain the research findings and need not contain complex explanation of the technical details of the study and research methodologies. As management is more concerned with the actual results of the research than with the specifics of the research methodology and statistical analysis. Therefore, researcher must ensure that the presentation is technically correct, understandable and beneficial. Before taking action on the findings, executives must be convinced of their significance. Researchers frequently need to provide both an oral and a written presentation. Since every project is unique, every presentation needs to be unique. A good presentation will, however, be more likely to occur if the prior research process steps were carried out well. While the effectiveness of the oral presentation highly depends on the presenter's personality and the management's expectation, the written report must have the following details in order to be successful, such as a clear and concise explanation of the research objective. The second important thing is a summary of the research methodology, then a well-organized presentation of the findings and a clear discussion of the implications of the findings for managerial decision making. A sample research report format includes title page, table of contents, introduction, statements of objectives, methodology, research design, sampling, data collection methods, field work, tools for data analysis, analysis and interpretation, findings, limitations, conclusion, recommendations, bibliography or list of references, appendix, copies of forms or questionnaire used, tables not included in the finding. Now let us apply these stages of the marketing research process to the case situation of organic fruit and vegetable seller Mr. Mohan that we discussed in our earlier sessions. The situation was that during your vacation you visited your local fruit and vegetable seller Mohan's new organic farm. While organic produce claims superior quality, Mohan struggles to sell it due to the higher price point compared to conventional options. Knowing that you are enrolled in a marketing management program, Mohan asked for your help in creating demand for his organic products by utilizing your newly acquired expertise in marketing management. So, based on this situation, to help Mohan create demand for his organic produce, we can conduct a marketing research process. As a first step of marketing research process, we can define the problem for this case situation by asking questions such as who are the consumers who actually buys these products and why, what are the demographics of organic produce buyers, what are their purchasing habits and motivations. Then who is the target audience, for example health conscious families, environmentally aware individuals. So we can say that here the problem can be stated as understanding the target audience and their perceptions of organic food. After defining research problem, we can frame statement of research objectives. For this case situation, we can frame objectives as understand consumer awareness, perception, knowledge and buying behavior related to organic produce. Other objectives may be identify factors influencing purchase decisions for organic fruits and vegetables such as price, quality, health, etc. Determine the target audience demographics and psychographics for organic produce. It can be also one objective. Other objectives may be analyze competitor landscape for organic and conventional produce in the area. And one objectives can be stated as to develop targeted marketing strategies that increase demand for his organic products. For research design, we may state that this research will imply a mixed method approach combining quantitative and qualitative data collection methods to gain a comprehensive understanding of the target market. For qualitative data collection, survey design may be used in which the target population may be the residents in Mohan's local market area who typically buy fruits and vegetables. Surveys can be conducted with potential customers at Mohan's retail store, local grocery stores, farmers markets or mandi. For sampling method, a random sample of residents can be selected through phone surveys or online surveys distributed via social media platforms. For questionnaire design, a structured questionnaire may be developed to gather information on organic produce consumption habits such as frequency of purchase, preferred organic items, usual spending on produce. Other criteria for developing questionnaire may be measuring perceptions of organic produce through health benefits, taste, environmental impact, price sensitivity, and one dimension of questionnaire may be based on the shopping behavior. Such factors like influencing purchase decisions such as price, quality, brands and so on. We can also conduct a focus group method for qualitative data collection. Participants in group 1 may be regular buyers of organic produce, whereas participants in group 2 may be non-regular or infrequent buyers of organic produce. Small groups with 6 to 7 members per focus group could make up the sample size. For the focus group, a semi-structured discussion guides might be created to explore, and this can be motivations and barriers to know reasons for buying or not buying organic produce, related to attitudes towards price, to know willingness to pay a premium for organic products and perceived values. Regarding information needs, it can be to know preferred sources of information about organic produce, then perceptions of Mohan's farm produce, to know potential selling points and areas for improvement. Similarly, to do secondary research, it is required to collect market research reports on organic food consumption, trends, analyze existing customer data from Mohan's conventional produce sales, and research local organic product pricing strategies. Once the data is collected, data analysis can be planned. For quantitative data analysis, statistical methods can be used to identify trends, correlations, and key demographics of potential customers for organic produce. For qualitative data, thematic analysis may be used to identify recurring themes and insights from the focus group discussion. Analyze the preferences, motives, and concerns of consumers with relation to organic products by examining the results of surveys and focus group discussions. Analyze secondary data to understand market size, growth potential, and strategies used by competitors. Determine whether misunderstanding or information gaps exist among consumers regarding organic food. Based on the combined findings from the quantitative and qualitative data analysis, recommendations can be made for Mohan's marketing strategy. This may include positioning of his organic produce. By highlighting the unique benefits like superior quality and taste of his organic products, as well as its environmental sustainability and potential health benefit. A pricing strategy may consider potential price adjustment by offering introductory discounts, loyalty programs, or offering bundle deals to make organic options more attractive without sacrificing profit margins or explaining the value proposition of organic produce such as longer shelf life, reduced pesticide exposure, etc. The promotional strategies can be recommended to develop targeted promotions and educational campaigns to raise awareness about Mohan's farm and the benefit of organic produce. The distribution channels recommendation can be exploring additional distribution channels beyond the physical retail store, such as partnership with local grocery stores, farmers markets, or online marketing. By following these steps, Mohan can gain valuable insights into his target market and develop effective marketing strategies to create demand for his organic produce. Mohan can also track the effectiveness of the implemented marketing strategies by monitoring sales data and conducting follow-up surveys to gauge changes in consumer awareness and purchasing behavior. However, the limitation or boundary of this research process is that this research design focuses primarily on the local market surrounding Mohan's farm. For a broader understanding, additional research might be required if Mohan aims to expand his research in the future. So, in this session, we have explained how the value of information influences marketing research decisions. We have discussed the various stages of the marketing research process, and with the help of the case situation, we have applied the concept learned of the marketing research process in real life case situation. Now, let's attempt these questions to check your progress. The question 1 is, the research process typically begins with the options are A. Data collection, B. Defining the solution, C. Defining the problem, D. Formulating a hypothesis. The second question we can share here. Why might it be difficult to clearly define a research problem at the beginning of the research process? The options may be the research budget is not finalized, the solution to the problem is already known. The third option may be only the symptoms of the problems are initially visible, and the fourth option may be the research team is not assembled yet. You have to choose best of any one. The third question is, what is the purpose of exploratory research in defining a research problem? The option A is to test a specific hypothesis. Option B is to gather more detailed data for analysis. Option C is to gain a deeper understanding of the problem situation. Option D is to present the findings to stakeholders. you can attempt, you have to choose the best out of these 4. The question 4 is, what kind of data is examined in a secondary data survey for problem definition? The options are data collected specifically for the current research project. Option B is existing data such as sales figures or customer demographics. Option C is data generated through interview or focus groups. And option D is data obtained from scientific experiments. So, you can select the best out of these 4. The question 5th is, how can experience surveys be conducted for problem definition? Option A is by analyzing sales figures and market reports. Option B is through interview or focus groups with relevant individuals. Option C is by reviewing existing academic research papers. And option D is by conducting pilot studies with a small sample group. So, you have to choose the best out of these 4 options. So, with this we end this session. Thank you. Happy learning.